Hi guys, welcome to my channel. I hope you're having a wonderful crafty day. I entered a fun little challenge at Tina's Craft Creations. She had a 3K subbies challenge on her YouTube channel where the requirements were to make an ATC or a memdex card, 4 handmade unembellished embellishments, and I have used the Simple Stories Simple Vintage Meadow Flowers digital collection kit and made these cute little shaker frames and memdex card, and thought I would share a little tutorial on my entry and how I assembled my little shakers and memdex card and the bag topper. Now this isn't the one that I posted off, as I forgot to make a VR. I only took a photo of it, so some of the things I use today may be a tad bit different. So we will start with the memdex card. I have cut out all the pieces that I need, and now I'm just going to start. I cut a solid base out of cardstock and then cut the same in a pattern paper, and of course it's clogged. Right. And first I start by putting the pattern layering panel on the base. Just makes it that little bit more sturdy. You can do a few other layers if you still feel that it's not firm enough. Then I have cut out all my pieces that I'm going to start layering. This was one of the little ephemera cards. I just rounded the corners with the corner punch, and just going to place that down in the center and glue it in place. Now we're going to be covering up this. It's a shame, but I wanted to just have some of the little background pieces showing out. And then I'll take another little ephemera piece and pop that off to the side. And I've made the little shaker. I've cut out the pieces. So I've cut a cardstock base, a pattern base, a 3mm foam insert, and a glitter cardstock top. And with this one, because I use thick acetate, I don't cut this with my die cutting machine. I just place my top layering piece onto the acetate, trace it, and then just freehand cut it out, because yeah, I don't want to run this through my die cutting machine because it's just a tad bit too thick. So to start, we want to put the layering piece on the back. Then I put the foam, making sure you put a good amount of glue on that. And if you die cut your foam, it's best to let it sit for a little bit, so that when you run it through your die cutting machine, it tends to stretch it out a bit. So I usually let mine sit for probably an hour or so to let it shrink back to size. and then you can see that because I cut this one out previously, it's all where it's supposed to be. And then I just put a little bit of pressure on there to make sure that there's no gaps underneath. And the shaker mix that I've got for this one, I've just made my own little mix to go in there. Making sure that none of the pieces are thicker than the foam. Then I get my little acetate. And pop that on the top. And then I get my layering top piece. Just sit that on top, and then I like to just sit that there like an acrylic stamp block on top, and just pop something a little bit heavy so that it forms a good seal and none of your stuff leaks out. So that shouldn't take too long. So then I sit that on there. I don't put it down just yet. I don't glue it in place. I just sit it there so I can work around and see what pieces I want to attach and put in place. So I'm just going to pop that one across there. And then I'll probably put Adventure. These are all fussy cut by hand. I didn't do them on any machines or Cricut or anything like that. Sometimes I just like the rustic look of cutting with scissors. So then I need a bit of trim. Probably just trim that piece off. And probably just trim that one. That way? No, I'll go that way. I'll pop that piece in there. And then I might actually add a bit of lace. This isn't the same lace. I ran out of the lace that I'd made for Tina's one. So this one is a white piece of ruffle trim. So I'm just going to layer that across the bottom, not obstructing these little tab pieces. And just trim that off. And I'll need another little piece of this trim, or I can use the piece that I cut off. Oops. Oh, good one. And then we're going to pop that one just up the top. Probably put a little flower. No, we can. I think it's time we can glue this one down. It can sit just about there. You want to move it across into the center. Oh, that's about right. So then I want to pop a little flower here. And I fussy cut a butterfly from the same simple vintage meadow flowers collection. And I'll just pop him off to the side. And then we will probably put 3 little flowers there and here, so I can glue them down. My glue's not wanting to play nice today. It's pretty hot here at the moment. And I've only got a fan on in my craft room as I don't have air conditioning in here. So just stick those 3 little flowers down like that. And we might put oh, we've got another little, just pop another little lot of flowers, little bit of leaf. In there. And then I might pop the Enjoy across the bottom. So there we go, that's my memdex card. You still see the shaker, and that's ready to gift. So next we will go on to the little frames. So I've already pre-cut all my pieces. And again, we would just want to start with the base. I like to have the nice sides facing outwards. And pop the layering piece on. Then we want our frame. Just line it all up. Now this way, I actually like to do this in batches so that when I'm gluing, I can glue them all down at once. So I'll do these 2. And if you get a big blob of glue, just wipe it out. Because you don't want your little shaker mix to be sticking in there. So that's those 2. Give it a press. Whoops, my light just went out. There we go. So that's those 2. So what we'll do is we've got the pink one, so this is my pink mix. my glue. Just got a couple of those. And in here, just some little pearls. Okay, so now we want our little acetate. Let's pop that down in place. Going to set this one to the side and just quickly put this one together. Pop that one in place. Set them off to the side, pop my little acetate acrylic block and that on top, and then while those two are drying I can start on my next two pieces. Now I have actually lost a piece, but that doesn't matter, we can add that later. I have a piece of cardstock to go to the back of that one, but it seems to have disappeared off my desk. Yep, it is nowhere to be seen. So we can add that later, that doesn't matter. Want the foam. Mix for those ones. Might be a little bit too big. Let's take out some of those bigger ones. Not you. That should be fine for that. And then in this one, again, we just want to run some glue right around the top, pop on the acetate, and then the layering frame. these ones should be strong enough, and they're all sealed. And the glue looks like it's taken okay. So we'll just do the same with this one. Those ones to the side. So these ones are all nice and done, so we'll just leave them ones sitting there, and we'll do our little bag topper. So this time I've cut out the little bag topper, cut out a little panel piece to go in the center of the bag topper, and then I turned it over and just traced that with pencil and then just cut it out by hand. So we're going to attach this piece to the front, and I rounded the little corners, just the top corners, because the top's rounded but the bottom isn't. I'll just place that down, leaving an even border. Then I've got, actually I just found the piece for the back of that one, so we will just pop this one down in place. Now, because it's going to be seen on this side, I don't put any glue in there, so I just pop a little mark on either side so I know not to put glue there. And I'll just pop that down in the center, and you can't see anything on the back. So then I want to bit of off-cut of foam. I don't throw any of my pieces of foam out, I just keep them in a little bag for the sizes that I need. Pop the foam on there, and we're going to attach that to the center. Then we want a piece of trim again. There, and another little flower just over the end of the trim, and then we want, so I've left my jewel picker out in my other bag, so I want 3. Can't pick them up with this. I'm just going to put 3 little dots. Oh, that was a big dot. Let's see if I can wipe some of that up. There's 1. All I need. Just going to drop 3 little pearls on there, and a tiny one, and just move them into place. And if you do get a little bit of glue seep out, we can just carefully wipe that off. It will dry clear, but just in case. I'll just wipe it up a little bit. So there we have our bag topper, and I usually put on just 2 little removable sticky dots on either side, so you actually need 4. So I've got my bag ready with my piece of background pattern paper in there, and I will put 1 lot of sticky dots on this side, line it up to where I want it to sit, probably about there, and then I will put the other 2 inside the front and stick that down. And then whoever you give this to can reuse the bag with the background mat and the topper, or they can just carefully peel that off and use it on a different project. So now I would take my little card out, pop a foam dot on the back, and work out where that's going to be situated, and I would probably set that one just down. This one, you can either put a foam dot or one of those repositional sticky dots. So those 2 there, and then this one I found the back, so just pop that in place. And we have some gorgeous little unembellished embellishments ready to decorate or gift, and your recipient can decorate. Pop that one there, and that one so that makes a lovely little unembellished embellishment. It fits nicely in the little bag, and then you would pop your details on the back and seal that up. And now we're going to do the little bag holder for the memdex. This one is not going to be a shaker, it's just going to be a layered bag closure. So pop the layering piece on there, make sure it's lined up. Pop on the foam. So these ones don't have to be shakers, you can just make them as a layered embellishment and they look just as nice. Lots of ways you can embellish it. You can just leave it plain as a bag closure, or you can pop a little flower in there, a flower inside and a little sentiment or something, or you can just put a flower on the side. But in this case I'm just leaving it plain because the memdex card's going to go in the bag That's going to fold down, and a little sticky dot, removable sticky dot, just on the back. To hold it in place. And there we have our 4 little embellishments, shaker embellishments, our matching little bag topper, and a cute little gift bag with the memdex inside. So that just sits there, and that's it, all finished. Hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.